Welcome to Data Science Using Python. In this video, we're going to look at Scatterplots Part 4? Yes. What we want to do this time is we want to add a legend to our picture. And now we're going to have to make quite a few modifications to actually make this happen. So just be aware that as we go through this, you're going to see lots of things from our code change, but I don't want to rewrite the code entirely because this is a lot to type down. So this is the code that we left off with in the last video. You might want to go back and watch that video and get the code for it, or you can pause right now and simply type it in. The reason I don't provide code in any of my videos at the bottom is part of programming is typing it yourself. So I'm going to let you do that. And remember, if you see me copy and paste, feel free to do those sorts of things. Those are things that you should get used to. All right, so here we go. This is the plot that we left off with last time. We learned how to change the markers and the colors on the markers. Now, this isn't a good plot yet because we don't know what those markers mean. It's completely nonsense at the moment. So what we'd like to do is put some labels on them, right? So the first thing we're going to have to do is kind of jump out of what we've been doing. So here we're going to start off with what's called a subplot. And this will allow us to deal with adding other things inside the plot, okay? So, for example, a legend. So we're going to keep the figure, and we're going to keep what's called the AX. I have no idea what AX means. But anyway, that's the first thing we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to name each one of these, but we're going to put a comma because we want to hand back to the legend information, okay? So these are what are called handles. We want to hand back some information to the legend. And in the legend, we're going to need to put in some text. So what is our label that we want to go along with this? In our case, I'm going to put it in quotes because we want it to be a string. When it sees the single quotes, it's often thinking that it's a like an argument, like none, blue, whatever. So we're going to put it in quotes, and here we're going to do treatment equals n. Why? Because that's the condition that we're under on this particular one. I'm going to go through and do exactly the same thing on each one of those. So here's the label, and it's going to be equal to treatment equals L, and on the last one, label treatment equals C. Okay, so those are my labels. Now I need to name each one of these. So that's my scatterplot 1. This is going to be scatterplot 2, and you have to have the comma or else it won't work because it's handing back a whole bunch of stuff and it wants to know which argument you want to hand back, which happens to be the first one, but none of the others. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with SC3, comma, and this has got us almost where we want to be. Okay, so next thing I need to do is do a X legend. Okay, and then here I'm going to put in handles. Okay, so that's where we're going to refer to these because it doesn't know what to plot. But since we put the labels in each one of those, it will dig out what it needs to out of these. So SC1, SC2, SC3. Okay, so this is our first attempt at this. And notice all the changes we had to make. We had to make this figures and axis so that we can plot things on top of a plot, like a legend, putting legend on it. And then we have to have handles so that it can go and dig out the markers, the colors, any line styles, any labels, anything like that. That's what these handles are for. So it knows which ones to go grab and examine the object to see what's part of it. Okay, so, and then we still have the x-axis label and the y-axis label and our title. So now, if we were to run this, we'll see if this works here, and we hope it will. Bingo. We get the same picture, if we can go between them, and notice where it put this. So what it does is it tries to find where's the best place to put it. So that's the default. But you can put in other arguments into this. You're not stuck with simply putting in, best So if, for example, if you want it to be in a specific place, you can put in here loc and then give it some information, such as upper left. Okay, so if I put in here upper left and I run this, you will see what happens. Provided it did it. Oh no, it did. There, it did it. Here's my plot in the upper left, but you can see it's masking out a point, and that's what you don't want to do. But I would agree having it down in the center probably is not the best. So there's lots of things that you can do with these. So keep that in mind. You're not just stuck, dealing with however it looks. You can also change a lot of the items on this, but you have to get used to first creating them. So just keep that in mind. For example, I could put into this one other thing, which I believe will work, and call, and I can put 3 because there's 3 items. If I do this, let's see what happens. What kind of picture do I get? Notice it no longer masks that point, and it spread it out across the top. Okay, so it allows you to arrange things in any ways you want to, provided it can figure out a way to fit it on the plot. All right, so this is how we can add legends to our pictures. Now we understand what each of those means, each of the little diamonds and circles and the colors. We know what all of that means at the moment, so that makes our life a whole lot easier in producing a good plot. So we now have a layered scatter plot with a legend that can tell us what everything means. All right, so in the next video, we're going to diverge from this a little bit, but we're going to stay on plotting. We're going to go and we're going to make a box plot, or especially a side-by-side box plot is our ultimate goal. But first, we'll make a box plot, and then after that, we'll worry about the side-by-side box plot. All right, but we'll worry about that next, and see you in the next video.